Back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to add interactivity to iOS widgets inside a Flutter application. So this will be only for Flutter iOS. So let's get started. So what basically I will do is I have written some of the code, but the widget code I will do it inside the video itself. Also what basically I will do is that I'm using user defaults. If you don't know what user defaults is basically like storing key value data, just like we have shared preferences. Now some of you might be wondering why I'm not using shared preferences. The problem is it's very difficult to call the shared preferences code of your Flutter from Swift side. That's the main problem, but user defaults I can call it from Flutter side as well as from Swift side. That's why I'm using user defaults. So basically I will create one button, and as soon as you click on the button I will increment the count inside user defaults, and whatever count is present inside user defaults I will display that inside a label. Then we will create a widget out of it. Also in the widget we will display the count inside a label, as well as I will have one button, and once you click on the button inside your widget the count will get updated as well. So let's see how to do this. Firstly I have created a Flutter application. Okay, then I have created this main.dart file. So this is pretty typical main.dart file. The only thing which I have done is that I have refactored this home page widget. So it is a stateful widget. It takes a method channel as well as it has one variable. So inside the inside the init state we basically call this get value method. So this will invoke this get current value. So we'll have to define this method called get current value on native iOS side. Once we invoke this method, whatever is present inside user defaults we will get that particular value and assign it to this data variable. Then if you see the build code, here I have one text button which will, on click of it, we are invoking a method called increment. So we'll have to create this particular method as well. Once you increment we get the value which is stored, and then we assign it to our data variable as well. Then so this is the text for our text button, and here I have taken another text just to display whatever is present inside this data variable. Okay, so pretty simple. Next you will have to open the XE workspace of iOS inside Xcode. I have already done that. The next thing which we have to do is you will firstly have to go to app.delegate.swift file, and here we will have to create this Flutter view controller. So we'll have to get hold of this Flutter view controller. Then given that the name which we are using for our method channel was widget platform, that's why I'm using it over here as well. So this is the Flutter method channel. Then we just call this method call handler, and here we just call this increment. We have created this increment method. Once you call this increment method we are getting hold of user defaults. Now some of you who might know native iOS side basically might be wondering that why I'm not using user defaults.standard. The reason is that because I want to share this user defaults on our widget code side as well. If you use user defaults.standard the state won't be maintained. It will create two user defaults, but we only want one user default. Instead of user defaults you can take whatever you feel like suppose you are displaying data from a network call, or if you're loading data from Swift data or core data, whatever it can be. I'm just taking example of user defaults just to keep things simple. Now here is the interesting part. What should be the suite name? Basically what I follow is I just add group dot whatever is your bundle identifier. So if you go to runner, and if you come over here, so this is my bundle identifier which I just copy and I paste it over here. Okay, same thing I will use it on widget code side as well. And here this is the key which I'm using, stored number. So I get the value from it. Whatever is the value I just add 1 to it and again save it to user defaults, and here you can see I'm just returning it back to Swift side. Then for getting the current value, again we get hold of our user defaults, we get the currently stored value, and just we return it back to Flutter side. So pretty simple till here. Next I have already created this video for native iOS, so I will be copying some code from it, but I'll explain it to you what exactly I'm doing. So first we'll have to create a widget. So for that go to Xcode, file, new, target, and just wait a second. Yeah, here you select iOS. Here you can search for widget. Okay, widget extension, just click next. You can give it whatever you feel like the name. I will just give flat app widget choose whatever you feel like. Like uncheck this include live activity, uncheck this include control as well, and then just click on finish. Okay, then click on activate. Now other important thing is, given that we are sharing this user defaults, we have to create an app group as well. And for the app group I will use the same name which we have used for our user default suite name. So I will just copy this particular thing. Okay, I'll go to runner, and firstly you will have to select your target runner actual app. Click on plus capability, select app group. Just wait for a second or two. Okay, and once then click on this plus button, and here you can see I will just name it as group.com.example.flutter. So whatever is your bundle identifier, use that, and then just click on OK, and here you can see it has added it. Now I will have to use the same one on my widget side as well. So I'll just open my widget extension. Again I will just click on plus capability, select app group, and you don't have to you don't have to click on the plus button. Here it will already show you. So I'm just searching for the one which I have created. So this is the one, group.com.example.flutter. So I'll just select that and it will come at the top. Okay, so this is done as well. Next you will have to go to your Flutter widget code. We are storing a count inside our, so I'll just close this preview, I don't like it. Okay, so here basically if you see the code, it has this simple entry struct. Now what we are storing it inside user default, we are storing a count which is of type integer, right? So I'll just add it over here. If you want you can remove this date and configuration, but I'll keep it. I don't want to confuse you guys too much, so I'll just add something like this. Okay, now this simple entry is used in couple of places. So it is used over here, right? So here you can see it is giving me an error. So I'll just click on fix, so it will add this count. Now we want to get this count from user default, so I'll just create some helper method called get value over here. I'll just copy this and I will paste it over here as well. Okay, and we need to paste it over here as well, but I don't need all this boilerplate code. I'll just close this. Here it requires an entries, right? So I'll just create a simple array, and here I'll just pass this particular thing. Okay, and here we just again copy this count of get value. So I'll just add a comma, count get value. Now we'll have to define this get value function. So for that I'll just go to my practice project. It is very similar to what we have written inside app delegate. It's just that I don't want to make any mistakes, so I'll just copy this and I will just paste it over here. Now here you can see I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting hold of user defaults, whatever value is present we are just returning it back, otherwise we return 0. But this should change, right? So this is not our what we are using inside app delegate. We are using something like group.com.example.flutter. So that's what I will use it over here. Also here I will just change it to runner because that's what I want to run. Here for entry date I can just select as now, and this policy I will just select as never because I don't want to automatically update the widget. If you want to automatically update the widget, you can pass some time over here. Don't keep it as 1 minute or 2 minutes, that won't work. But I want to only update the widget once the user clicks on this button. That's why I'm making this tutorial. Okay, so this get value stuff is done. Now here also we are getting some error. This is only used for preview purposes, so even if you just comment this out, that is fine. Okay, next we'll have to change this particular view a little. So again I'll just go back to my this particular thing and I'll just copy it. So like I told you, we will display one label as well as one button, right? So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm creating this text label and here is our button, and you can't really add an on click listener directly inside your label. You have to use something called app intent. So that's what I'm using over here, for which you will have to create a file. So I have the UI is pretty simple. Okay, so I'll just do indentation, proper indentation. Okay, so this is like this. Then we'll have to create this particular file called increment intent. So I'll just right click, new file from template, Swift file, next, I'll just name it as increment intent, but here make sure you add it to your Flutter widget extension. Not necessary to add it inside runner because we are not using it inside our Flutter project. We are using it inside our widget extension. So I'll just click on create. Now again I'll just copy some code and I'll paste it over here. So basically every time you want to create an app intent, you will have to just create one title. This default key is the same which we are using for our user default, and you have to override this particular method. Inside that you can write whatever you feel like. Again, I'm doing the same thing, getting hold of our user default. So whatever value is present, update, add one to it, and then just update our user defaults again. Now again we'll have to change this particular thing. So I'll just go back. So this error is gone. Okay, and here from here I'll just copy this particular thing and I'll paste it over here. Now I will just quickly run the app and come back to you with the output. Now when I try to run the application, I'm getting this particular error, cycle inside runner building code. Okay, all this nonsense. So for this, what you will have to do is you will have to take this. Firstly, you will have to go to again to your project, select your main Flutter app inside target, then go to build phases over here. Then you will have to take this embed framework and move it above run script. Then you also have to take this embed foundation extension and also move it about run script, and then try to run our application. So if I just try to run it, so here is the output. Now I have this button. If I click on it, here you can see I'm incrementing the count. Now the count is 7. So basically what I'll do is I'll just close this. I'll just go to my app. I'll long press on it, click on edit home screen, click edit, add widget, and just search for your app. So this is my app. I'll just click on it. Here there are this here you can see the value is 7, but there are different widget types. Choose any one of them, doesn't really matter. I'll just click on add widget and click on done. Okay, now if I click on increment, here you can see the value was incremented. Now I will have to stop my app and like close my app completely because it is still in background. It won't show the increment count because I'm not calling that get value method on the app did appear, something like that. I'm only calling it inside the init state, but here you can see the value has been updated. So yeah, that's what this is. Thank you for watching. Bye.